What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. We're going to talk today about Fury Warrior, and I want to give you guys sort of a basic leveling guide for Fury Warrior like we did with the Enhancement Shaman video. And I got a lot of stuff that I want to talk about with regards to Fury Warrior, so let's jump right into it. First of all, this is my live character, and she's freaking badass, man. Look at this chick. I love this armor set. Here's a couple things I want to talk about with Fury Warrior. Number one, there's been some massive changes on the beta compared to the live server, specifically with Reckless Abandon. I'll talk about it in a minute, but this has been completely changed. The version you're seeing right in front of you right now is the old version, which is currently on the live servers. That's what I'm on right now. On the beta, which is like in the future, they've changed it. And I'll talk about it in a minute, but that's number one. Number two, there are multiple builds that you could kind of go with Fury Warrior when it comes to leveling in Dragonflight from 60 to... Sorry, at max level in Dragonflight. Once you hit level 70, there's a couple different lines you could really go down. You can do like an Annihilator build down here where you have no Raging Blow. Or you could do a Raging Blow build where you focus on Reckless Abandon, which is even in its new state, you could still do that. And you can trigger... There's lots of different ways to trigger it. So... What I'm going to talk to you about today, what I want to present to you today is basically a stock standard, tried and true, kind of normal Fury Warrior build that I think if you're just picking up Fury Warrior for the first time, or you've been kind of looking at it, you've been playing around with it, and you're wondering what's a good build to level with in Dragonflight, this is what I want to present to you, and I'll talk about this build in a second, but it's basically kind of a stock standard Fury Warrior build with a couple of extra tweaks thrown in there. But we're not doing anything crazy special today because I want to make this video and I want to show you the rotation, which I will in a minute, and I don't want it to be too complicated for you guys. So Fury Warrior can actually get very, very fast-paced. It can be very difficult to keep up. It's probably the fastest, most fast-paced like spec in the game. Except for maybe like Enhancement Shaman would be kind of close depending on what's kind of going on with Enhancement Shaman. But there are very few. Outlaw Rogue would be the only other one that would fight for that title, I would think, in terms of how many buttons per second you basically have to be pressing. So I will show you that in a minute. Let me just talk about the Reckless Abandon stuff that's happening, that has happened, sorry, in the game and on the beta because it's really, really crazy. So I want you to look at Reckless Abandon right now. Here's what it looks like. This is the old version. This is the way that we've known Reckless Abandon to be this way for a very long time. When you press Recklessness, which is your main cooldown, it dramatically changes. It basically buffs your Bloodthirst and your Raging Blow. And it makes them very, very powerful. And I actually did a video a few days ago about Crushing Blow, which is what Raging Blow turns into. It turns into Crushing Blow. If you want to go see that video, go check that out. There's a whole build that I've outlined about it's the Raging Blow, Crushing Blow build. So you can go check that out. But this is now changing. This Reckless Abandon talent is changing, and it's turning into this. So this is going to be the new Reckless Abandon in Dragonflight. It's on the beta right now. What it says is Recklessness generates 50 rage like it did before, and Rampage greatly empowers your next two Bloodthirsts or Raging Blows. So this is very different because it used to be Recklessness would empower them. So you pop Recklessness, and Recklessness lasts for like 12 seconds or whatever it is. How long is it? It is 12 seconds baseline, okay? So in that 12-second window, you have to press like Raging Blow, which is now turned into Crushing Blow over and over and over and over and over again. And you want to press Bloodthirst, which turns into Bloodbath over and over and over again. You want to press them as much as you can because you only have a 12-second window. Now, this is essentially a buff, in my opinion, where it's triggered off of Rampage now. So Rampage is your main ability that you're casting. It's your only real rage dumper. It's what you spend all your rage on is Rampage. So this is a crazy change. And I'm not going to get into it today because this is like such a massive change actually for the Reckless Abandon build. And I want to make sure that I get to try it out a few times in Mythic Plus and kind of see how it feels before I present something to you guys. So I just wanted to highlight it and mention it here. But the reality is that we're not going to talk about the Raging Blow build today. We're going to talk about this main build. So Let me get to the class tree really quickly and talk about what we're going to see there. Let me just make this a little bit smaller for you guys so that we can see everything. So there. Oh, the camera's really weird. There we go. Whatever. We'll just do it like that. So let me talk about this build that I want to do for Fury Warrior. This is a leveling guide, level 60 to 70. What's a good build to take? I am on live servers right now, so the thing that we are limited by is the bottom part of the tree. We're missing 5 talent points per side. And for Warrior, that actually matters tremendously. For Shaman, it didn't really matter on the class side of things because you don't have as much throughput in the class side, but for Warrior, you do. So let's look at this right here. On the class side of things, there's a couple of important talents you want to take. Frothing Berserker is really important. Furious Blows is important. Overwhelming Rage, you get 30 more rage. Really, really good. Sidearm is really good. So that basically says your auto attacks have a chance to hurl weapons at your enemies. It actually ends up being a decent amount of damage. What did we do here? Yeah, Sidearm was like 4.2% of my damage, which is crazy for 1 talent point. That's a lot of damage coming out of 1 class side talent point. Seismic Reverberation makes Whirlwind strike again, which is really good. You get two charges here. You get Bounding Stride. Then we get to the bottom. The really most important part that I want to talk about is the bottom part of the tree. So you're going to take Avatar, which makes you do 20% more damage and generates rage. Very strong. And then there's 2 different buffs you can get to Avatar. One here is the old school Signet of Tormented Kings. Remember that? So this now says activating Avatar gives you Recklessness at reduced effectiveness, and activating Recklessness over here gives you Avatar at reduced effectiveness. So it's very, very powerful. The other one is activating Avatar gives you Odin's Fury, and Odin's Fury gives you Avatar. Odin's Fury is a new cooldown right here. We are not going to use it in this build because we don't have access to those 5 extra talent points on the bottom. If we did, we would actually be using it. And I can talk about that a little bit later. But here's what your class tree is going to look like. Something like this is good. Once you hit level 70, you will finish out the Thunderous Roar talent section here. So you're going to put 1 more point into Wild Strikes and then go Thunderous Roar, Uproar, and Thunderous Words, in my opinion. You can take all 3 of those. And then you have 1 more point to play with. You can put it wherever else you want in the tree. Put another point into Crushing Force, or maybe get Cruel Strikes. Whatever you want to do. Doesn't really matter. But once you hit level 70, you're going to put 4 of those points here and then put the other one wherever you want. Now, once you hit level 70 for the spec side of things, you have a lot of different choices you can do. That's where the builds really open up. And you can abandon this Raging Blow side of the tree if you want to, and go really fully down this side of the tree and get Annihilator if you want to do that, which is, of course, replaces Raging Blow. It gets rid of it and allows you to just, your auto attacks will just deal more damage, which is really cool. So if you get rid of Raging Blow, you're going to need to be pressing some other abilities to potentially fill in those the GCDs that you're now missing, because Raging Blow represents a lot of GCD uptime. You're going to press it a lot, and if you don't have that ability at all, you're going to be relying on like sudden death procs. You're going to want to press Bloodthirst a lot more. What you will end up doing is replacing, if you want to do the Annihilator build, you're very much likely going to take Odin's Fury as well. And Odin's Fury will give you another button to press, and it'll give you more bleed damage. There's a lot of bleed stuff over here on the left side of the tree. So just bear that in mind. If you hit level 70, you're going to probably want to pick up the Thunderous Roar stuff because it does a lot of damage. And then on top of that, you could take the Annihilator build, which means you would be getting rid of Raging Blow, or you can get all the Raging Blow stuff and go Reckless Abandon and pick up a couple of extra supplementary talents. You can do that if you want. So once you get to level 70, do whatever you want. I have a couple other videos on that. But for today, we're stuck at level 60, and this is the build that we have on the spec side. So let me just talk about this build really quickly, some highlights for this build. We are using Raging Blow. Going down to Annihilator at level 60 is very bad because it means that you miss out on all the stuff in the middle. And realistically, the best way to play this build is to have Anger Management. This makes the build very, very simple, very easy to understand. You're pressing Recklessness on cooldown, and you're cooling down Recklessness with Anger Management. And it does this cycle. This build that I have right before you basically maximizes Recklessness uptime. As much as humanly possible, we're in Recklessness as much as we can be. How do we do that? Well, we have Recklessness baseline ability. Very good. We have Anger Management, which is cooling down Recklessness. We have Rampage from Unbridled Fury. Rampage has a 20% chance to give you Recklessness for 4 seconds. Very good. Over here, we have Avatar gives us Recklessness as well when we press it. So we have 1, 2 abilities that just give us recklessness, and then a 3rd proc chance from Rampage, and then we're reducing the cooldown of it through Rampage as well. So why do we want to have recklessness up all the time? Well, the main reason is because it gives you 100% more rage generation, which gets you back to Rampage as much as possible. Rampage is your dump. It's the thing that's going to do the most amount of damage for you. It's what you want to be pressing. This is kind of what the DPS is going to look like. This is the breakdown here. I'll make it a little bit bigger. So Rampage will be top. Raging Blow is going to be right up there too. You're going to have Whirlwind, Bloodthirst, and then Gushing Wound is the other part of this that I want to talk about. Gushing Wound is incredibly strong. It's over here on the left side. It's the only thing on the left side that we're going to take besides a Focusing Chaos, which I'll talk about in a second. It's called Cold Steel Hot Blood. It applies Bloodthirst critical strikes, generate 4 additional rage, and inflict a Gushing Wound, which leeches 26 health over 6 seconds. Really important to hear the word leech there, because yes, indeed, it does give you health back. Let me look at the overhealing that it did. It did 109k overhealing on the last dummy test that I was doing. So that's over a 2-minute period. So it's basically doing like 50k. It did 50k healing in 1 minute. I'm not sure what the breakdown of that actually would be. That's something like almost 10k HPS. It's about 8,000 health per 10 seconds. Yeah, I'm not through the numbers. But anyway, it's a ton of health that you get for free. And what's really, really cool about Gushing Wound is that you can apply it to multiple enemies. Let me just try and show you how that works. Your Whirlwind, of course, makes you cleave, makes all the rest of your abilities cleave. So we do have Meat Cleaver, which I was going to talk about later, but I'll just say it now. You should take Meat Cleaver for AoE. It's really important. What it does is when you press Whirlwind, all your single target abilities will now cleave, and it'll do that 4 times. So I'm going to press Whirlwind. I've got Meat Cleaver or Whirlwind up here. Your next single target attacks strikes 4 additional targets. So I'm going to press Bloodthirst, and you can see it put a Gushing Wound dot here. We're going to try it again. We're hoping that the Gushing Wound dot will cleave. Not cleaving yet, but we're going to keep doing it till we get it. Okay. I don't know why it's not cleaving there. Let me get a little closer. There we go. Look at Gushing Wound. Gushing Wound cleave to multiple enemies there because of Whirlwind. That is really, really cool. So let's try it again. Okay, we didn't get it. There we go. We got multiple Gushing Wounds going. You can get the cleave if it crits. It's got a crit on everybody. There we go. Multiple Gushing Wounds. 3 of them there. So you can see, I'm just trying to show you proof of concept there that means that you're going to have 3 bleeds going out on an enemy, and it also means that you're going to be leeching from multiple enemies as well. It increases your survivability like a lot. A lot, okay? Gushing Wound will end up doing quite a bit of damage over the course of your entire dungeon run, or as you're leveling up in the Dragon Isles and fighting multiple enemies at the same time. This build, I will say one more time, is geared towards you doing normal and heroic dungeons while you're leveling in the Dragon Isles, and it's just all around the easiest build to kind of run, okay? The final piece that I want to mention, Focused in Chaos should probably be included in every Fury Warrior build. If you didn't know, there's an automatic penalty for you if you're dual wielding in terms of your chance to miss enemies that are in front of you. So as soon as you equip a second weapon, your chance to miss an enemy goes up to about 25%. It's about 24%, I think, is what the actual stat is. This basically says while you're enraged, none of your auto attacks can ever miss anymore. So it deletes that penalty that you have for dual wielding, which is really, really cool. Okay, now I am going to show you the rotation. Let's get to that. I'm running the wrong way. Let's get to the rotation. What does this actually look like in practice? I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to do a very, like a normal demonstration, and it'll be very fast. And then I'm going to slow it down for you after. Here's what it looks like normally. Let me move my camera back to where it was so that you guys can see the abilities. There we go. Okay. Here's a demonstration of what it looks like in normal speed, and it's very fast, so just be aware of that. Okay, I'm going to press this. See, the Gushing Wounds are cleaving. There's a Gushing Wounds cleaving everywhere. You can see how often we get our Rampage back up. It's just so fast. There, Recklessness is back. Okay, so that's how fast it's going to work. I'm going to get Recklessness back one more time. So watch my Recklessness cooldown. It's going to go down every time I press Rampage. Spin. Rampage. Every time we press Rampage, we have a chance to get Recklessness, which is our big cooldown. Okay? You can see I'm cooling it down 34, 33, 29. Okay, 27, 26, 25, 20, 19, 18, 17, 13. Every time we press Recklessness, we're cooling it down, and boom, we would have it back right about now. There we go, it's back. So, DPS breakdown, Rampage, Raging Blow, Whirlwind, Gushing Wound. There's that Gushing Wound once again. The cleave on Gushing Wound is really, really crazy. So, that's like a normal rotational speed that you're going to be, and that's actually slow. Because my haste is at 41% because of my gear from live, but it's going to be lower than that once you get to the Shadowlands, or the Dragonflight. Let me slow it down for you a little bit. All you're doing in this build is building up Rage until you get enough to press Rampage. That's all you want to do. So every single fight, you want to start with a charge. I'm going to slow it all down for you right here. We're going to charge. While we're charging in, right when we get there, we're going to pop Recklessness. Recklessness is off the GCD, so you can just pop it whenever you want. So you charge in and you press Recklessness, and then you need to press Whirlwind. Let me just talk about Whirlwind really, really quickly. You press Whirlwind once, and then you press your other abilities 4 times because we have the upgrade from Meat Cleaver. If you don't take the Meat Cleaver upgrade, your Whirlwind will only cause your next 2 abilities to cleave, okay? So very, very important. So you press Whirlwind once, and then you can press Bloodthirst, Raging Blow, and you can press Rampage, and all 3 of those abilities, including Rampage, will cleave, and it's very important you do that or your AoE damage will go in the toilet, okay? So, one thing I would suggest for new players or players who haven't done this in a long time is to get a weak aura that will track your Whirlwind. So, like, put your weak aura, like, right in the middle of your screen here, and have it track what Whirlwind is at in terms of its stack. So you press Whirlwind once, and then you press Raging Blow, Bloodthirst, and then Rampage. Those are your 4 abilities. Then you have to press Whirlwind again. Get something that tracks Whirlwind so you know exactly how many Whirlwind, like how many stacks you have left of the cleave. That's pretty important. Now, here's what it looks like. We're going to charge in and press Recklessness. Boom. Then I'm going to spin. Now I'm pressing my single target abilities. Raging Blow. Rampage is up. We press it. I have 2 more Whirlwind abilities. I'm going to go Raging Blow again and Rampage again. Then I'm going to Whirlwind. Then I'm going to Bloodthirst, try and get the dot going. Then I'm going to press Rampage again. Rampage gave me Recklessness, so I'm generating more energy, or Fury. I did my Whirlwind, so I have 4 single target abilities. There's 1 single target ability, 2, 3, 4. Now I press Whirlwind again. Then we go single target. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I go AoE again. Then I go single target. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, Whirlwind again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whirlwind again. That's how that works. Okay, that's how your Whirlwind thing works. It'll get faster as you go, but basically what you're going to want to do is on pull, you charge in and pop Recklessness. Once the Recklessness buff has kind of ended, you want to pop Avatar, because remember, Avatar is going to give you Recklessness down here because of Berserker's Torment. One more time. Charge, Recklessness, spin, single target. 1, 2, 3, 4th single target. Spin again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spin again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spin again. Press Avatar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spin again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spin again. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I spun. 1. Oh, I spun again. Shoot. 1, 2, 3, 4. I kept messing it up. That's all my fault. You get how that works, okay? Whirlwind plus 4. Whirlwind plus 4. That's what you're doing, okay? If Rampage becomes available at any point in the fight, you press Rampage. That's the point. Unless you need to put a Whirlwind up first. Make sure you put a Whirlwind up so that your Rampage cleaves. You don't want to overcap Rage as a Fury Warrior. If you do, it's a bit of a yikes for sure. Because, like, if you can press Rampage, you should press Rampage. It's your best ability. That's why having Overwhelming Rage is very, very helpful, actually, because it gives us 30 more max Rage, so we don't risk overcapping. So that's your main concern, is that you, As soon as you have enough rage to press Rampage, you press it. That's the only thing in your kit that spends Rampage. Spends rage. Sorry, it's so much different from Arms Warrior, which has multiple things. Almost everything spends rage for Arms Warrior, but nothing spends rage on Fury Warrior except for Rampage. Okay, that's what you want to be using. Okay. We do have sudden death. It was hard to tell if it was proccing there because my UI wasn't reloading my buttons correctly, but I will show you once again. If you get procs on execute, you do want to press it with Whirlwind up because it'll do a buttload of damage. See how simple this rotation is, though? All we're doing, guys, is charging in Recklessness, spin, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's very, very simple. Your rotation is not hard. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Avatar, spin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just keep that going. That's all you got to do. Spin plus 4. Okay? That's all you got to do. Now, once you get level 70, you can start experimenting with other builds and trying out Fury Warrior and seeing how it goes, okay? But for now, I would just get used to this rotation. Just get used to spinning and then pressing 4 abilities and then spin again and press 4 abilities and kind of get used to that. In single target, of course, you don't need to do the spinning at all. When you come up across, dangerous enemies, all you're going to be doing then is really dipping into your Raging Blow charges. For single target, you just press Recklessness and go. Rampage, there we go. Rampage, Raging Blow, Raging Blow, Rampage, Raging Blow, Rampage, Raging Blow, execute, Rampage, Raging Blow, Raging Blow, Rampage, Rampage again, Raging Blow, Rampage, Raging Blow. Do you see what I barely even touched Bloodthirst. I should Bloodthirst to get the dot going a little bit. I should be doing that every once in a while. But you see the idea. It's very, very simple. The reason that it works so well is because we have so many ways for Raging Blow to get its own cooldown back. So Raging Blow has a chance, 20% chance to instantly reset its own cooldown. When you're enraged, Raging Blow has an additional 30% chance to reset its own cooldown. So you have a 50% chance for Raging Blow to give itself another charge back, which is very, very good. It basically totally ensures that you'll always have a button to press on single target, okay? And also you get an additional charge from Raging Armament. So this is the, I think, most stock standard kind of Fury build that you can take in the tree. I would highly suggest if you're starting out with Fury Warrior, if you just want to level from 60 to 70, this is a great start at a build. Once you hit max level, you get a bunch more options that make it very exciting, and there's a bunch of things that you could do. You could dual wield one-handers over here and get the Annihilator buff. You could do a Reckless Abandon build with a new Reckless Abandon on beta and how that's going to work, and I'll do another video on that probably eventually to talk about how that works, but you could dip over here into Ravager. I haven't even talked about Ravager, but it's not something that I don't really find myself going down to the bottom right-hand corner of this tree. I'm not going to lie. I do have Onslaught here as well, which you could take, but you can see Onslaught's basically just here to generate rage for us. You do not need more rage generation. I pressed Rampage so many times in that fight. Like 50 times I pressed Rampage. In a 35-second fight, it hit 50 times, sorry. I pressed it 12 times. In a 35-second fight. 12 times in 30 seconds. That's outrageous. That's like once every 3.5 seconds or something. That's a really crazy margin. So our rage generation is fine. I don't think you really need Onslaught for this build. And Ravager's fine for damage, but it's just not something that I can work into the build right now. You certainly can't work it into your build if you're only level 60. So this is the build, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Fury Warrior. This is my leveling guide for you in Dragonflight. This is the talent tree setup that I would definitely use. I will move my camera once again one more time so you can see it, but generally speaking, you're going to want to take all this, the Avatar plus Avatar giving you Recklessness. You want Recklessness here. You want Anger Management to cool down Recklessness, and then you also want Rampage to have a chance to give you Recklessness. Why so much Recklessness? Because it generates 100% more rage when you're in Recklessness, which means you can get back to Rampage, which is what we all want to do. So that's the build right there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a comment down below. And yeah, I love you all. I'll see you in the next one.